Hello world, welcome to the 40th 8-Bits to Infinity Jam Indirect Control Jam. I am Retro Indie Josh, the jam host, and I am very excited about this particular jam. I have on and off participated in Ludum Dare for many years now, and very often I see the theme come up: control the environment, not the player. And yet, we have never had a Ludum Dare where that was the theme. So I said, hey, I host game jams, I can make that the focus. So here we are with indirect control, which I think is a much better and more flexible term for you control the environment, not the player. For me, this brings back memories of games like Lemmings and its sequel, Lemmings 2, where instead of directly controlling the character to navigate to the end of a level, you simply assign each character a job, and they automatically carry out that job. So you, as the player, solve the puzzle of how to get to the end of the stage by assigning those jobs in the right order at the right time, instead of controlling a single character getting from one side of the level to the other. Another example of an indirect control game is the much more recent Bridge Constructor, where similar to Lemmings, you're trying to get something from the start of the stage to the end of the stage, but instead of assigning jobs, you're simply building out the level. And with a limited budget and constraints on the types of things you can build, you have to make a bridge that's going to allow cars across, and if you want to get extra points, it has to allow heavier trucks to cross. Another game that comes to mind, which is near and dear to my heart, even though I recognize that it is often a very frustrating experience and very rough around the edges, is Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures. As far as I know, there aren't any games really like this one, where you navigate Pac-Man around his world to accomplish certain objectives by shooting things with a slingshot, throwing him power pellets to turn into Super Pac-Man, or simply telling him to look in specific directions. The catch is that Pac-Man is more or less a Tamagotchi pet, and you need to manage his mood so that he does what you need him to do to accomplish those objectives. I would really like to see another game like this, although to be fair, it would be a lot to get done in the time span of a game jam. So those are some examples I would use to describe games with indirect control. One other type of game that is sort of in the area is real-time strategy games, where you generally give assignments to, for instance, troops, and they carry out those assignments. This is a little bit questionable as an indirect control type of experience because you can tell the troops specifically go here, attack this, etc., etc. But if there were more automation to the characters and you were suggesting what they do or modifying the environment to change what they do, then it could qualify as an indirect control experience. Basically, if the characters in the game always do exactly what you tell them to do, then it's not an indirect control game. So now that we've covered the basic idea of what an indirect control game entails, you of course would like to know what the theme is for the jam, because we always have a focus and a theme. While the focus is absolutely mandatory in order to enter the jam, the theme is optional, although it does count for a significant amount of your score. The idea of the theme is to inspire you and to allow a broad number of interpretations among all of the different entries to the jam. So without further ado, here is the theme for Indirect Control Jam. The theme is branches. This is a word with a lot of different meanings, and that's why I chose it. You could take it literally to mean, for instance, tree branches. Maybe you make a game about indirectly controlling the growth of a tree. Or you could consider conditional branches, either story branches where events may go one way or another, or perhaps there are branching paths. Or maybe you make a game about government or about a company which has many branches in the sense of departments or groups. Let your imagination soar. Interpret the theme as you wish. You have 10 days to develop your game. Good luck, happy jamming, and I look forward to playing the games.